At the beginning of the 19th century, there stood in the Indian subcontinent an empire so disciplined, so battle-hardened, and so feared that even the British East India Company hesitated to challenge it. Its soldiers were trained in European warfare, its artillery was among the finest in Asia, and its warriors fought with unmatched courage. This was the Sikh Empire, built by steel, unity, and leadership under Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And yet, within a few short years after his death, this mighty empire collapsed, defeated by a trading company turned colonial power. How did an empire that resisted the Afghans, Persians, and Mughals fall to the British? Was it military superiority alone, or something far more dangerous from within? This is the story of betrayal, strategy, ambition, and the slow unraveling of one of South Asia's strongest empires. The Sikh Empire rose from the turbulent political landscape of northern India, a land fractured into small principalities and missils, each vying for power and survival. Amidst this chaos, a young and ambitious leader emerged, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who would go on to unite the Sikh missils into a powerful and centralized state. His vision was not merely conquest, it was the creation of an empire that could stand strong against the ever-looming threat of larger powers, particularly the expanding British East India Company. Ranjit Singh's rise was remarkable not only for his military prowess but also for his diplomatic acumen, as he carefully balanced alliances, rivalries, and regional politics to consolidate his authority. By the early 19th century, Punjab had become a formidable kingdom, blending martial tradition with a modern sense of statecraft that was rare in India at the time. Ranjit Singh's approach to governance was revolutionary for the era. He established a disciplined administration that ensured law, order, and prosperity throughout his domains. Tax collection, infrastructure, and trade were organized efficiently, turning Punjab into one of the wealthiest and most stable regions of India. However, his brilliance was perhaps most evident in the military sphere. Recognizing that a strong army was the backbone of his empire, he modernized the Khalsa, the traditional Sikh fighting force, incorporating European artillery techniques, drills, and strategies. European officers were invited to train troops, ensuring that his army could rival any contemporary force in India. This fusion of traditional valor and modern military science made the Sikh army not only formidable but feared by neighboring states and the British alike. The Sikh army itself was a marvel of organization and discipline. Thousands of infantry, cavalry, and artillery units were stationed across Punjab, each trained to act in unison under strict command structures. The cavalry, renowned for its speed and shock tactics, could outmaneuver heavier forces, while the artillery, often European-made and expertly handled, provided devastating firepower. Fortifications across Lahore, Amritsar, and other key cities added layers of defense, making direct invasion a daunting prospect. The soldiers were deeply loyal to Ranjit Singh, inspired by a sense of religious pride and martial honor, which further strengthened the cohesion of the empire. This combination of loyalty, strategy, and modernized weaponry placed the Sikh Empire among the strongest regional powers of its time. Ranjit Singh was also a master of diplomacy, understanding that brute force alone could not secure lasting power. He skillfully navigated relationships with the Marathas, Afghans, and even the British, using treaties, marriages, and political maneuvering to avoid unnecessary conflict while consolidating his influence. His court became a center of culture and administration, attracting scholars, poets, and artisans, which enhanced the legitimacy of his rule. Religious tolerance further strengthened internal stability, as Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs coexisted under his governance. This environment of prosperity and unity allowed the empire to focus on military and territorial expansion without being undermined by internal strife, a rare achievement in a region often marked by constant warfare. Despite the external threats from the British and the Afghans, the Sikh Empire maintained a strong defensive posture. Lahore, the capital, became the heart of political and military planning, a city that reflected the empire's strength and Ranjit Singh's strategic foresight. Border forts and garrisons were continuously maintained, and the army was always prepared for rapid deployment. This level of readiness discouraged invasions and made the empire a respected power in northern India. Traders and travelers from across the subcontinent acknowledged the stability and wealth of Punjab, further boosting its economic and cultural standing. Ranjit Singh's personal charisma and leadership style also played a crucial role in uniting the empire. He was respected not only as a ruler but also as a warrior who led from the front. His ability to inspire loyalty among diverse groups of soldiers and nobles ensured that challenges to his authority were minimal during his reign. However, he was also pragmatic, rewarding competence over lineage and often choosing capable individuals for key positions regardless of their background. This meritocratic approach strengthened the administration and military simultaneously, creating an empire that was efficient, disciplined, and resilient. By the time of Ranjit Singh's death in 1839, the Sikh Empire had reached its zenith. It spanned from the Khyber Pass in the west to the Sutlej River in the east, encompassing a rich and strategically crucial territory. Economically prosperous, culturally vibrant, and militarily unmatched in the region, the empire stood as a testament to Ranjit Singh's vision, skill, and determination. Yet beneath the surface of this greatness, seeds of vulnerability were sown. The empire's reliance on a single strong leader meant that succession crises could destabilize it. This structural fragility, combined with the ever-advancing ambitions of the British, would soon set the stage for challenges that the Sikh Empire, despite its might, could not withstand. The Sikh army under Maharaja Ranjit Singh was not only a symbol of power but the backbone of the empire's dominance in northern India. Unlike many contemporary armies that relied solely on numbers or traditional warfare, the Khalsa combined discipline, training, and strategic innovation. Soldiers were recruited from across Punjab and neighboring regions, selected for their courage, loyalty, and physical prowess. Each regiment was drilled meticulously, and officers were trained to maintain cohesion on the battlefield, ensuring that even in the chaos of combat, the army operated like a well-oiled machine. This organizational rigor made it one of the most feared military forces in the subcontinent. Ranjit Singh's modernization of the army was a revolutionary step. He employed European officers, particularly from France and Italy, to train troops in contemporary military techniques, including the use of artillery, infantry formations, and cavalry maneuvers. The introduction of advanced firearms and cannons transformed the Khalsa from a traditional force into a modern fighting machine capable of standing toe-to-toe with European-trained armies. Forts and garrisons were strategically positioned, and supply lines were maintained to ensure rapid mobilization. This modernization not only enhanced combat efficiency but also instilled a sense of pride and confidence among the soldiers, who knew their skills and weapons were unmatched in the region. The army structure was carefully designed to maintain both offensive and defensive capabilities. Infantry units were trained to hold positions and deliver disciplined volleys of fire, while cavalry units could execute lightning-fast attacks to disrupt enemy formations. Artillery units, equipped with cannons and mortars, provided devastating firepower that could break enemy lines before infantry engagement. Additionally, Sikh commanders emphasized flexibility, allowing units to adapt to changing battlefield conditions. This adaptability made the Khalsa exceptionally difficult to defeat, as traditional linear tactics of opposing armies often faltered against their coordinated strategies. Loyalty within the army was cultivated through a deep sense of religious and cultural pride. The Khalsa soldiers were bound not only by duty to their ruler but by the collective identity of the Sikh faith. This spiritual cohesion created an unparalleled morale on the battlefield, as soldiers were willing to fight to the death for their honor and homeland. Ranjit Singh reinforced this loyalty by personally participating in military campaigns, leading charges, and demonstrating courage alongside his troops. The presence of a leader who shared both the risks and victories of war inspired unwavering dedication, ensuring that even in the most challenging battles, the army remained steadfast. The logistical sophistication of the Sikh army was another critical factor in its strength. Supply chains ensured that soldiers had consistent access to food, weapons and ammunition, allowing prolonged campaigns without disruption. Cavalry units had dedicated forage and transport systems, while artillery units received regular maintenance and upgrades. This level of organization allowed the Khalsa to engage in sustained operations, outlasting enemies who might falter due to lack of supplies or fatigue. The combination of tactical brilliance and logistical planning made the Sikh army a formidable force capable of defending and expanding the empire effectively. Ranjit Singh also emphasized intelligence and reconnaissance as vital components of military strategy. Scouts and informants monitored enemy movements, terrain, and potential threats, providing commanders with critical information to plan campaigns. This proactive approach allowed the Sikh army to strike with precision and avoid unnecessary losses. Forts and garrisons were not static defensive positions but hubs of strategic awareness, ensuring that the empire could respond swiftly to both external invasions and internal unrest. The integration of intelligence into military operations elevated the army's effectiveness beyond sheer numbers, making it a highly adaptive and lethal force. By the time of Ranjit Singh's death, the Sikh army had earned a reputation that spread across India and beyond. It was not only feared for its firepower and tactics, but respected for the discipline, loyalty, and courage of its soldiers. The Khalsa represented the pinnacle of martial organization in the region, a force capable of resisting even the most advanced European armies. Yet, the army's strength was closely tied to the vision and leadership of its Maharaja. The centralized control and personal charisma that had maintained cohesion and morale would soon be tested after his passing, leaving the empire vulnerable despite the formidable military machine he had built. The stability of the Sikh Empire under Maharaja Ranjit Singh was one of its greatest strengths, and it was achieved through a combination of strong governance, strategic alliances, and social harmony. Unlike many contemporary kingdoms, which were frequently destabilized by succession crises, factionalism, or religious conflict, the Sikh Empire thrived under a centralized administration. Ranjit Singh understood that military power alone could not sustain an empire. Effective governance, fair taxation, and public welfare were equally crucial. He instituted a system of administration that divided the empire into manageable districts, each overseen by competent officials who reported directly to the Maharaja, ensuring accountability and efficiency at every level. Ranjit Singh's ability to maintain political stability was rooted in his diplomatic acumen. He skillfully balanced relationships with neighboring powers, including the Afghans, Marathas, and the British, using treaties, marriages, and alliances to neutralize potential threats. Within the empire, he encouraged collaboration between different Sikh missiles and ensured that no single faction gained overwhelming influence. This careful balancing act allowed the empire to avoid the internal conflicts that had historically weakened other Indian kingdoms. His diplomacy extended beyond politics. It reinforced loyalty among nobles, military commanders, and civilians alike, creating a shared sense of purpose that bound the empire together. Religious tolerance played a pivotal role in maintaining stability. Punjab was a diverse region, home to Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, and smaller communities, each with its traditions and practices. Ranjit Singh promoted policies that respected religious beliefs and ensured that no community felt marginalized. He employed people from different faiths in key administrative and military positions, demonstrating that merit and loyalty mattered more than religion. This inclusive approach not only minimized internal dissent but also strengthened the social fabric, as citizens felt secure and valued under his rule. The result was a harmonious society capable of supporting a thriving empire. Economic prosperity further reinforced political stability. Ranjit Singh focused on infrastructure, agriculture, and trade, recognizing that a strong economy was essential for a resilient state. Roads, canals, and markets were developed to facilitate commerce, while taxation policies were designed to encourage productivity without overburdening the population. The empire became a hub of wealth and resources, attracting merchants, artisans, and skilled workers. Economic stability provided the state with the means to maintain a powerful army, fund public works, and reward loyalty, creating a virtuous cycle that reinforced both governance and military strength. The Maharaja's leadership style contributed significantly to stability. He combined personal charisma with practical governance, leading by example while also delegating authority to capable ministers and generals. Ranjit Singh was respected for his fairness, decisiveness, and courage, which inspired loyalty across all levels of society. Nobles and military officers who might otherwise have pursued personal ambition were kept in check through his strategic vision and the promise of shared success. This blend of respect, fear, and incentive created an environment in which cooperation was preferable to conflict, allowing the empire to function smoothly despite its vast and diverse territories. Education, culture, and patronage of the arts also played a role in unifying the empire. Ranjit Singh's court became a center of learning, attracting scholars, poets, and historians. Religious institutions, including gurdwaras and temples, received support, strengthening their role as social and cultural anchors. By fostering a sense of identity that combined Sikh values with cultural pride, the Maharaja ensured that loyalty to the empire transcended mere obedience to authority. Citizens and soldiers alike saw the empire as a source of honor, protection, and opportunity, which further solidified internal cohesion and minimized the risk of rebellion. However, this remarkable stability was heavily dependent on Ranjit Singh himself. His personal vision, decisiveness, and charisma were the glue holding the empire together. While his policies and systems were robust, the empire had not yet developed mechanisms to sustain cohesion without him. After his death, succession disputes and factional rivalries quickly emerged, exposing vulnerabilities that had been masked during his reign. The political stability that had allowed the Sikh Empire to flourish under Ranjit Singh would soon be tested, setting the stage for challenges that ultimately contributed to its vulnerability to external powers like the British. While the Sikh Empire was consolidating its power in the north, the British East India Company was steadily expanding its influence across India. By the early 19th century, the British had already established dominance in Bengal, Mysore, and the Maratha territories, creating a vast network of administrative and military control. Their approach combined diplomacy, trade, and strategic warfare, enabling them to subdue diverse Indian kingdoms with remarkable efficiency. Observing the growing strength of the Sikh Empire in Punjab, the British recognized that this region was both a strategic gateway to Central Asia and a potential threat to their northern frontier. Punjab's fertile lands, disciplined army, and independent leadership made it a prize that the British could not ignore. The British expansion strategy relied heavily on a combination of